It started quietly, too quietly, in a way that made everyone in Washington lean forward without realizing it. Lawyers in the West Wing noticed an unusual filing, a document that had somehow slipped through routine channels, and the moment it appeared, the entire legal strategy shifted. Trump's team, the same group that had been preparing for weeks, months, even years, suddenly found themselves reacting instead of acting because the court had moved, and it had moved fast. What makes this different from every other twist in the Trump legal saga isn't just the timing, it's the content. A motion filed almost without notice changes the landscape. It isn't procedural, it isn't minor, it's specific, direct, and it targets vulnerabilities the defense thought were secure, and when that happens, even the most confident legal team feels a moment of unease. Inside the room, attorneys scrambled. Phones rang. Messages flew. Key members huddled behind closed doors, reviewing every prior filing, every deposition transcript, trying to anticipate what the court might do next, because in these high-stakes moments, even a small misstep can cascade into chaos. Every word, every document, every assumption now had to be questioned, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The decision doesn't just affect a single case or a single property. It could ripple across multiple jurisdictions, across ongoing investigations, and potentially into campaign strategy. For Trump and his advisors, it's not just legal, it's political, financial, and personal all at once. Reporters outside the courtroom sensed it immediately. The filing was subtle, almost innocuous on the surface, but anyone who knows the rhythm of federal litigation could read the subtext, and the subtext is clear. Something unexpected is coming, and the defense isn't ready. Analysts, watching quietly from afar, immediately understood the potential consequences. The courtroom, the strategy rooms, the emails circulating between lawyers, all of it suddenly felt like a live wire. And this isn't the first time Trump's team has faced surprise legal maneuvers, but the pattern here is different. The court's move was precise, surgical, and it exposed cracks that had been hidden or thought hidden under layers of legal maneuvering. The emergency signals were subtle but unmistakable. When motions reference documents or evidence in a way that seems minor, it's almost always anything but. The question everyone is now asking, what exactly triggered this unexpected court move? Was it a previously overlooked detail, a discrepancy in testimony, a new interpretation of the law, or something even bigger that hasn't yet surfaced publicly? All signs point to a combination, and that combination has everyone watching carefully, knowing that the next developments could redefine the trajectory of the entire case. Trump's legal team is reviewing everything. Every email, every call log, every financial document is being scrutinized for inconsistencies, gaps, or vulnerabilities that could be exploited. And while the public hasn't seen the impact yet, insiders know this. When the court acts like this, even a single filing can send shockwaves far beyond the courtroom. Because this isn't just a legal maneuver, it's a message, a signal, a pivot point. And anyone who underestimates what comes next is about to learn why timing, strategy, and precision matter more than ever in Trump's legal universe. The courtroom erupted the moment the filing was formally acknowledged. Papers shuffled, attorneys whispered, and reporters, trained to spot drama, immediately sensed something extraordinary was unfolding. What appeared to outsiders as routine procedure was, in reality, a seismic shake in the foundation of Trump's legal defenses. Inside, the legal team moved with urgency. What had been a carefully choreographed plan was now reactive, scrambling to account for a maneuver that nobody expected. Every prior deposition, every document submitted, suddenly needed a second, even third review. Mistakes that once seemed negligible were now potential landmines. The motion itself was surgical. It didn't just reference past evidence. It questioned the very assumptions Trump's attorneys had relied upon. The details were subtle but damning. Discrepancies in testimony, conflicting numbers, and procedural vulnerabilities all intertwined in ways that amplified risk. This wasn't a simple court hiccup. It was a calculated disruption designed to force the defense into a reactive position. And it worked. Legal analysts immediately picked up on the implications. A single unexpected court filing can shift the balance of a case. But the timing here suggested more than coincidence. Observers speculated that this move was aimed not just at immediate legal strategy, but at creating pressure points in multiple ongoing investigations. The ripple effect could touch campaign strategy, financial disclosures, and broader political positioning. The media outside tried to interpret the filing. Headlines rushed out, Trump legal team faces unexpected court action. But the depth of what was happening inside remained invisible. Only those familiar with the inner workings of high-stakes legal operations understood the significance. When the court acts suddenly, quietly, and precisely, it signals a leverage point, and everyone on the inside knows it. Meanwhile, communications within Trump's legal circle intensified. Phone calls, encrypted emails, and emergency meetings became constant. Every possible angle of attack or defense was being evaluated. It was no longer just about winning the case. It was about damage control, narrative control, and anticipating the next unpredictable move from the court. And the stakes were massive. This wasn't merely about legal precedent, it was about perception. Political allies watched closely, anticipating media spin. Opponents seized the opportunity to frame the filing as proof of broader vulnerability. But at the center of it all was a team forced to rethink their entire strategy in real time while the clock kept ticking. What made this filing particularly explosive was that it exposed weaknesses that Trump's attorneys thought were secure. Emails, depositions, and previous filings were suddenly scrutinized in a new light. Facts that had seemed neutral or irrelevant were now potential liabilities. The court had shifted the narrative subtly but unmistakably. Outside the courtroom, the pressure was palpable. Financial markets, political analysts, and media commentators all picked up signals of disruption. Even if they couldn't fully interpret the scope, the ripple effect of a single court move was starting to spread, and everyone was trying to read the pattern before it became impossible to ignore. In size, the lawyers worked feverishly. Every prior argument was every witness statement reconsidered, every document crossed. The filing forced them into defensive maneuvers they hadn't anticipated, creating a tense environment where one misstep could have long-term consequences. And as the hours passed, it became increasingly clear this wasn't just a procedural hiccup. This unexpected court move had fundamentally shifted the dynamics of the case. The next steps, the strategies yet to be deployed, and the reactions from both legal and political fronts would now determine not just the outcome of this filing, but the trajectory of Trump's entire legal and political landscape for viewers. The takeaway was simple but urgent. The situation was evolving in real time, and every development had consequences that would reverberate far beyond the courtroom. This was a turning point, and nobody, not even Trump's seasoned legal team, could afford to look away. The fallout started almost immediately. Inside the courtroom, whispers turned into urgent conversations. Attorneys were moving files, reviewing documents, and sending messages that seemed to ripple through the building faster than anyone could track. The unexpected court move wasn't just a moment, it was a pivot, one that threatened to redefine the trajectory of multiple ongoing cases. Trump's legal team realized something crucial. This wasn't just about the immediate filing. It was about precedent, interpretation, and perception. Every judge, every clerk, every opposing counsel was now watching how the team would respond. A single misstep could be amplified, dissected, and weaponized in ways that went far beyond the courtroom. Walls. Political allies reacted next. Rallies, statements, and social media posts were drafted in real time. Every message had to strike a balance. Show confidence, downplay risk, but not ignore the seriousness of the court's move. Opponents, meanwhile, were quick to seize the momento. Analysts on cable news debated the implications endlessly, using phrases like game changer and unprecedented maneuver, ensuring that the story dominated every news cycle, but the real story was in the details. The filing had exposed small, previously overlooked discrepancies, timing, and minor contradictions that suddenly became leverage points. The court hadn't overstepped, it had nudged the defense into a position of constant reaction, and once that happens, momentum shifts. Even the strongest legal strategy can falter when the other side sets the pace. Financial markets weren't blind to this either. Traders noticed subtle movements in stocks and bonds connected to Trump's business interests. Analysts on Wall Street began to whisper about uncertainty in regulatory and legal environments. Even a seemingly minor court filing can ripple outward, influencing investment decisions, lending strategies, and market confidence. Inside Trump's camp, the team worked feverishly. Depositions were revisited. Past correspondence was combed for inconsistencies. Every possible angle to counter the court's move was mapped, tested, and the pressure was immense. The clock was ticking. Every second mattered. The court, by issuing this unexpected filing, had shifted the battlefield. What had been predictable, planned, and contained was now uncertain, fluid, and each reaction by Trump's team had to be calculated perfectly. Too much caution, and they'd appear weak. Too aggressive, and they could inadvertently validate the court's concerns. Meanwhile, the media storm intensified. Headlines flashed across screens. Trump legal team under siege. Court shakes Trump defense. Unexpected filing sends shock. The public, hungry for drama, had no way to fully grasp the technical complexity, but the tension was palpable, and that tension kept eyes glued to screens, waiting, watching, and speculating. But the most important piece remained behind closed doors. Legal strategists knew that this unexpected move was just the beginning. It signaled potential follow-up actions, motions, and challenges that could unfold over weeks or months. And with every passing day, the uncertainty grew, spreading outward to every connected case, every political ally, and every financial stakeholder. This is the moment viewers need to understand. The unexpected court move isn't just news. It's a signal. A signal that even the most carefully built legal defenses are vulnerable to timing, strategy, and precision. And in Trump's world, where law, politics, and media collide, that vulnerability becomes magnified with every hour that passes. The question now isn't if there will be further consequences, it's how big they'll be, how fast they'll arrive, and how prepared anyone truly is to handle what comes next. Because one thing is certain, the legal landscape has shifted, and nothing about the next chapter will look like what anyone expected just days ago.